Hey, sports fans, welcome back to another episode of Bucky Sports Show. Tonight we are going to talk about the Indiana State Sycamores and the upcoming fall sports schedule. Uh, just a lot of good things happening at Indiana State right now. We're going to get started with women's soccer because they have already started their season. They currently stand at 1-1 overall. They had an exhibition match against SIU Edwardsville. They won that 3-1. Sycamores played really well in this game. They got goals from Riley Matthews, Caitlin Long, and Anna Core. They had an assist from from Lane Frerks. Indiana State was able to get 15 shots off, 9 on goal, compared to SIU Edwardsville's 9 and 2 on goal. Indiana State only had one save out of those 2 shots. Corner kicks were even at 5-5. Indiana State had 14 fouls to SIU's 10. Really just a pretty solid performance for the Sycamores, I think, in this game. Overall, always good to get a win, even in an exhibition match. Really, really good way to start the season there. Their first match of the season was at Purdue. This game went about as expected. Purdue won this game 4-0. Indiana State struggled to get the ball in their zone. They only got 4 shots off, and only 2 of them were on goal. Purdue was able to save both of those. Indiana State did have 10 saves. They allowed Purdue 26 shots, 14 on goal. Purdue dominated the corner kick 6-1. And Purdue was the more aggressive team here with the 19 fouls to Indiana State's 9. But anytime Indiana State goes in and plays a team like Purdue, you kind of expect this outcome. It's always nice to beat or compete with these teams, but you don't really expect to. One thing I did miss, Autumn Fairfax had a yellow card, so she's getting a little aggressive there for the Sycamores. Not the greatest games, but you go play at Purdue. Is what it is. And then last night in the home opener, Indiana State beat St. Mary of the Woods 13-0. Indiana State just absolutely dominated this game from start to finish. Their first goal came at the 3-minute 54-second mark, and it was just all Indiana State. But again, you expect that playing St. Mary of the Woods, an NAIA school. So, kind of another is what it is type of situation. But Indiana State, they have 59 total shots, 31 on goal. St. Mary of the Woods had 1 shot, and it was not on goal. St. Mary of the Woods had 18 saves. Indiana State didn't have any. And of course, there wasn't one to get. So, Indiana State dominated the corner kick 16-0. Each team had 2 fouls. Goals. Alex Leonard got things off. She's assisted by Riley Matthews. And Tori Angelo had a goal. Alex Leonard scored a second goal, and that was assisted by Tori Angelo. Then Lena Fasquell had a goal, and the assist by Jordan Goldstein. Then Addison Warner got a goal, assisted by Ashlyn Cohen. Addison Warner scored a second goal that was assisted by. No, there was no assist on that one, my mistake. Addison Ham had a goal assisted by Ashlyn Cohen. Madison Zebarth had a goal assisted by Anna Core. Isabella Berta had a goal assisted by Lane Frericks and Addison Ham. Isabella Berta scored a second goal assisted by Skylar Cano. Quinn Urquhart had a goal. Skylar Cano had a goal assisted by Caitlin Long and Lane Frericks. My favorite name on the team, Charlie Blue Saunders, had a goal assisted by Isabella Berta. And the scoring ended with Caitlin Long with a goal that was not assisted. Again, 13-0, just complete domination. Again, you kind of expect that when you play St. Mary of the Woods. So overall, women's soccer off to a great start. 1-1, won their exhibition game. Last year they were 10-6-5. So they had success last year. They're looking to build off of that. From the start, I don't see any reason why they can't. The Purdue loss, that's neither here nor there. I think they're going to have a solid season and be competitive in the Missouri Valley. I don't know a whole lot about the women's soccer. We're going to learn it this year, though, and see what everyone in the Valley has. But I think Indiana State can be competitive, be very competitive. I don't see any reason why they can't. So hopeful to have a solid season. Next, let's talk about the football team here for a minute. Football last year, they were 4-8 overall. Their wins were against Dayton, Murray State, North Dakota, and Southern Illinois. The thing with the football team is they don't get the most support from the community. There's a good number that think the football team just needs to be eliminated. But when you play teams like Purdue and be able to get on the Big Ten network, that kind of pays for a couple of your other programs throughout the year. Those are big money games, and they have another one this year where they're going to go play at Indiana on September the 12th. So you get that money, and money talks. So this program's not going to go anywhere. But if it's not going to go anywhere, it's got to get better. If we're going to have a football team, I want to be competitive. And the problem with the football team is when they're not competitive, they're in one of the best conferences in the FCS, if not the best conference in the FCS. When you look at it, Indiana State's going to have to play right now. This is their current rankings. They're scheduled to play the number 1, 3, 4, 6, 7, 20 ranked teams in the country. So that's the number 1 team in the country, number 3, number 4, number 6, number 7, and number 20. So 6 teams there, all in the top 20, and 5 of those 6 are in the top 10. And 3 of them are in the top 4. And outside of one of those teams, that's your conference. They play in a very, very good conference in football in the FCS. It is difficult to win conference games. But again, if you're going to be in that conference, you've got to step it up. You've got to be able to get to be competitive in it. Now, last year they did beat one of those teams. They did beat a top 25 team last year. So now they got to go on the road and try to do it again. But my goodness, you play that schedule, and then you throw in IU, who's a top 20 team in the nation and the play in the FBS. It's a hard schedule. It's truly a hard schedule. It's just hard. It's hard to play there. And when you look at it, you see McKendree. That should be a win. That's their opening game, Thursday night, August 28th at home. They have McKendree. That should be a win. Eastern Illinois should probably be a win. Then they go play at Bloomington, and then they got at Montana. That's one of the ranked teams. Then they got at SIU. That's one of the ranked teams. Then they have South Dakota, one of the ranked teams. At North Dakota State, one of the ranked teams. At North Dakota, one of the ranked teams. South Dakota State, like Illinois State, one of the ranked teams. And they finish with Youngstown State, Murray State. 4 wins is probably what they're looking at again. If they're going to continue to be in this conference, they've got to pick up and get guys that can compete in it. With that being said, though, the toughest news coming out of this fall is from the Indiana State football program, and that is of the passing of Edward Amonkwa. He is 22 years old. He's a senior defensive back. Just absolutely devastating for this team to lose one of their seniors. Any teammate would be just awful. The only thing that was announced about this was that it was unrelated to any athletic activities. The family wants their privacy, does not want announced what that is. So I did not look into it any further than what Indiana State put out, just non-athletic. But just a terrible, terrible start for the Indiana State football program. Praying for that young man's family and his teammates. Hopefully, though, out of that, his teammates can find some motivation to play for him this year and really play motivated all year long and possibly help win those in a close game somewhere. Pick up a win that they're not expected to. But we will see. But again, just terrible news out of that program. We will move on to women's volleyball. Women's volleyball had some fantastic news come out over the summer, and in July it was announced that the volleyball team won the American Volleyball Coaches Association Team Academic Award. That is their 27th year receiving the award in a row. That is the longest streak among all Division I schools, and it is tied for the lead among all universities at all levels. So the Sycamore volleyball team getting it done in the classroom. Hopefully that transpires to the court as well this year. They've been struggling here in the past. Last year they were 5-25. A year before that they were 5-23. So they do have a little bit to start building on. They do have a newer coach in Ashley Pritchard. She's in her 3rd season. She was head coach at Marion. And they were an NAIA power. She was 222 and 103 in her time there. 75 and 9 in conference play. Just kind of, Marion posted the only 31 season program history. Just really had a nice resume coming in. Hopefully she's able to get the building done and they find success this year. Again, they actually start their season. They have an exhibition game against IU Indy on Saturday. So their season gets started Saturday. And then volleyball's a little different because they actually play a lot of tournaments on the weekends before, and then it's just conference games. So they're in the Bellarmine Conference or tournament where they'll play 3 games. They're in Northern Illinois tournament where they play 3 games. Then they host a tournament that will feature Montana, Eastern Illinois, and Butler. So that could be a fun one. Tennessee State tournament. And then they get into conference play, and I expect their win total to be above 5. I expect that in her 3rd year she's built some things that are going to go in the right direction. I think Coach Pritchard's a good coach. I think she's able to prove that at Marion. I think she brought some of that to Indiana State, and I'm hoping they find more success. Obviously, it's not going to be an overnight thing, but if they can find it, even just a stepping stone at this point would probably be pretty good, I would say. Our last sport to talk about is cross country, and that is always the fun one to talk about when you're talking Indiana State athletics, because their cross country and track programs are second to none. They go run in some big tournaments. Last year they were at IU for an invitational where the men finished 3rd, women 1st. They host a cross country event. I know Michigan was in the event last year. I don't know who all else was in it, but they have some big time schools come run their course, because the Laverne Gibson Championship course is a fantastic course. It has hosted national championships in the past, and people want to run it, so they get some big time competition at that. So then for 3rd and 2nd finish, that is just fantastic. They ran at Notre Dame, 4th and 1st. They run one in Bradley, and so really just they face really good competition all year long, and those tournaments are back on. They start off on the 29th. They're at Illinois, and then it's their invitational they host, and then it's at Notre Dame, then it's the one at Bradley, and then the MVC championships, and then the NCAA tournament. They don't have a lot of events, but the ones they do have, they are high quality, and they are getting ready for their turn. Just fantastic runners, fantastic coaches. Historically in this program, just absolutely phenomenal program before that. Okay, so that will wrap up this week's episode. We will be able to talk a little more sports as they get going next week. volleyball and soccer both play next week. Again, soccer next week. They're at Chattanooga on the 21st, and they're at Middle Tennessee State on the 24th. Volleyball, they get started with IU Indy on the 23rd. So we can talk a little bit next week about those events, and then the following week we can really get into it because that's when everyone will be going. With that, though, we're going to end this episode. If you have anything you want me to discuss, email me at buckysportshow@gmail.com. Like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and we will see you next time. As always, enjoy the games and go Sycamores!